Right, so while we're on forms, let's look at one really interesting thing about Access and something that's just completely different than Excel. We'll do our example here again. We'll say we're going to take our 33, right, and we're going to make it 10. And now we know just as soon as I move from this record, right, as soon as I move from this record over to some other record, then we know when we go back over to our products table that we're going to see it change to 10, right? So now I've gone and I've changed the data in here, right? I've changed the 33 here to a 10. In Excel, if we did this, if we changed the data in here and then we went to close it, it would give us that prompt, right? The box would appear here and say, hey, save your data before you close, right? Are you sure you want to do this? Save this thing. Watch this. I'm going to go up and close this, and boom, it just shuts down. All right? This did not require me to save at all. Now, when I open this back up again, and I go ahead and I open that products table, hey, look, it did save that 10, right? And this is a fundamental difference between a database and an Excel workbook, is that in Excel, that's a personal productivity tool, right? So we've just got one person using that. They're going to make changes. They're going to save it, and then maybe they'll send it to their boss or somebody else. They'll work in it. They'll save it. They'll send it back. And so there's no problem with there's no problems really with somebody making a bunch of changes, right? But imagine this database. Imagine 200 people working in this thing at the same time, doing different various things, changing all sorts of data and everything. We can't wait for one person to work in it for 3 hours and then press the save button before those changes occur for the other 199 users, right? We need anytime anyone changes a bit of data, we need that to change for everyone so that the database is in its most current form. So that's exactly what we have here. The minute that I go into my user interface, right, the minute I come in here and I go and I change a piece of data, right, a piece of information in a record, and then I move on to something else, everyone else is going to see that that number is also changed to 44, and whatever version they're working in, wherever they're at, they're going to see that too, right? So it's a fundamental difference between Excel and Access, is that Excel is a personal productivity tool, whereas Access is made for many users. Well, all relational databases, right, made for many users. Okay, let's hop out of, we've got our tables there, right? We opened up, we looked at this. Now, let's take a look at a query. All right, let's take a look at a query, and this is neat, right? So this is how we do everything, all of our actual, answers, our calculations, everything that all the data mining that we're going to do out of these tables is going to come in the form of a query. And for this, just today, let's just take a look at this inventory value query. And in this, we've just asked a very simple question, right? We've said, hey, of the items that we stock, what is the inventory value? All right, what is the inventory value? And so that's going to be, right, that's going to be the number on hand times the cost. Let me go back to our user interface here for this, and go back to this and make this back into the original 33 that we had there. Right? And I'll go on to the next record, so that'll be in there. And let's go back to inventory value. Oh, 33. I think our original was 10, wasn't it? Okay, we'll go back and we'll do this again. We'll go back and just say we just have our 10, right? And then we'll go back over and take a look at that. And now here's the cool thing about that too, right? Is that you see this changing, right? And so that's just the thing. This is us doing our calculation on these tables, right? And so as like the business owner of this thing, right? We own these kiosks. We're going to go ahead and say, hey, every evening I need to figure out what my inventory value is, right? So the way this is going to go is that you're going to build this kind of thing that shows you the inventory value. So that's just going to be the on hand times the cost. But then your employee at the end of the day is going to come in, and at the end of the day they've gotten a shipment that day, and they're going to go through and they're going to go here and they're going to go, okay, so we got our shipment. Barnyard Friends came in. We've now got 35 of those, and they'll go on to the next record and they say, and we also have now, we've got 25 of these, and they'll go through and update all these things, and then that'll flow through. It'll change the information in the products table, and then it'll also follow through into the query itself. You see these numbers are now changed too. So these tables are all linked, right? In Excel, if we did this and we had all these different worksheets and stuff going on, we would expect a really we have some errors cropping up from having a bunch of people coming in and making a bunch of changes in different places and stuff. But these are all they're all related, and so we can have multiple employees come in and mess around with this thing. And because everything's laid out and it's all structured so well, it doesn't matter. People are going to come in and they're going to punch numbers and all these things, and it's all going to work out just fine. We're going to run this query at the end of the day, and we're going to get this result that we need. Okay. So the last thing we want to look at here is, or the last object anyway, is a report. And this is really simple, right? A report is just a fancy printable version of a query. And so when I bring this up, right, when we look at this, hey, this is just this that we were looking at right here, right? It's just this query in a nice printable version, right? We could view that, or we could print that, and that's going to be really pretty in a report. So that's all that is just this information.